The harsh truth when it comes to your healing journey is that you will never be able to be the same. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Gardens, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it does not apply, that means it's not in line, which means it is not for you, so don't force it. As well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over and discuss the 30 harsh truths for the month of April and for today when it comes to your healing journey, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, and just certain things that you need to be aware of. So starting off with April 1st, and the first topic of today's video, you have to realize that when it comes to your healing journey, you're going to evolve. When it comes to life in general, you're constantly going to grow. You have to understand that as you grow, as you evolve, you are no longer going to resonate with certain versions of yourselves, certain beliefs, certain mindsets, and certain behaviors, and that it is okay. Until you understand that you are constantly going to have to expand and yet you're going to go through things in life, you are going to feel stuck and stagnant. And this is where the PTSD and the ADD and the anxiety and depressions and all these labels and titles and attachments that people have been diagnosed with. And if you want to know who I am, I'm your favorite mental health specialist who's a naturopathic physician who is here to motivate, inform, and educate. And I don't condone labels and attachments. Just because you went through certain things, certain traumas, because that's what it is at the age of 5 or at the age of 15 or at the age of 10, doesn't mean that you have to continue to hold on to that trauma. That's the reason why you're suffering. That's the reason why you have the anxiety and you're depressed. You haven't realized that there are going to be moments in your life where you're going to go through certain seasons and certain chapters, but just because you're going through certain seasons and certain chapters and just because you're growing in life does not mean that you have to be defined with the trauma that you have experienced. So the second disclaimer is knowing that as you're evolving, you have to appreciate what it is that you're going through. What has helped me along my healing journey and why I've started this channel. This is my second account. If you're OG, I started the mental health journey promoting positivity in 2019. It's now 2026. What has helped me along my healing journey to stay focused was to accept that there were different versions of me in my life. So like I stated, I was once 5 years old, I was once 10, I was once 15, and by the grace of God and the ancestors in the universe, I am now 29. Like, you are not going to be who you once were as you experience life, because you do go through things. Like, you're going to meet people, rather at school, rather you're at work, rather you're in your neighborhood, you're going to meet people in your family. Like, you're constantly going to be exposed to people and places and things. So you have to know that it is okay if there were certain chapters or certain stages of your life where maybe you struggled, maybe you didn't know any better, or maybe you quote unquote suffered. And the reason why you have to learn how to validate that version of you is because until you do, you will feel like you're not able to move forward and you won't be able to be who you want to be in this life. So the third thing you have to realize is that even though you may have been sad and frustrated and suffering and you were touched on and you were abused and you went through trials and tribulations, it is not the end of the world. Like, you have to know that there is a reason why you went through the things that you did. Now, of course, you're going to know why you went through the things that you did once you come to terms on who you are and what it is that you want to be in this life. And of course, the fourth disclaimer, you don't have to rush your life. You cannot compare your life. Shout out to Willard Smith. You cannot take advice or listen to people or society when it comes to your life, because that may not work for you. This is why I tell you guys to take what resonates and leave the rest. Like, just because you see people do certain things or live a traditional quote unquote life does not mean that you're going to have the same experiences. And it's not fair for you to compare yourself or to invalidate what you had to go through, because unfortunately, you guys, everybody is not treated the same way. Everybody is not having access to the same resources like education and finances. Like, there are a lot of corruption and division and manipulation from people's race, from people's genders to people's pronouns and all of those things. Like, if that was not a factor, it wouldn't be so much immorality. It wouldn't be people trying to hurt and harm and sabotage. But unfortunately, we are not responsible for the entire world. We are responsible for ourselves. And if you want to make a shift in the entire world, you have to start with yourself. Shout out to Michael Joseph Jackson. He said he started with a man in the mirror. Okay, you have to know that your life is for you. Like, you don't have to do what everybody else is doing if that's not true to who you are. And you also have to realize, because you're constantly evolving, because you're constantly growing, because you're not going to be who you once were, that is fine. Like, if you did certain things as a child, for example, if you've gone through poverty as a child and as an adult, you no longer want to be in those financial situations, you have to realize that there was a reason why you had to witness certain things at an early age. There's a reason why you had to struggle. There's a reason why you had to suffer. So therefore, you could become better and greater. Like, you don't have to continue to live your life based off of what you went through or how you was raised. So it's really important, lastly, to know that as you are evolving and as you're changing, you are going to outgrow certain people, places, and things. You are going to think differently. You are going to look at life like not the same way. Like, you're not going to be able to perceive life, the same way. You may no longer want to resonate with certain people, places, and things. This doesn't mean that you are superior to people or people are less than you, or that you have to demean people or you have to degrade people or belittle them. It's just, when you are growing, when you are evolving and you're becoming who it is that you said that you wanted to be, not what nobody said or not what your parents or society said, that's a part of your life, and it's okay. Like, you have to be okay with figuring out who you are and going through the things that you go through, but most importantly, learning the lessons. What has helped me along my healing journey to help you guys continue to elevate and grow as well as myself was to realize, to learn certain lessons. Like, life does not have to be as complicated, as difficult as we make it out to be. Yes, like I said, there's a lot of distractions and a lot of manipulation, a lot of greedy people and evil people in this world, but we don't have to focus on that. On this account, we do talk about positivity and healing. We don't need to be consumed with other things. Like, just how there are quote unquote evil and negative people in this world, there are positive and loving people like myself and you watching this. So you have to know that as you're evolving, as you're growing, you're going to have to start to be intentional with your time, your energy, and your effort. And that's going to be the first recommendation. So the first 5 disclaimers was those things. Now I'm going to get into the recommendations. The first disclaimer, you have to realize who you want to be. And when it comes to you figuring out who you want to be, it doesn't have to be immediately. It doesn't have to happen overnight, because 99% of 100% of the time, it does not always happen overnight. Like, you don't always see growth immediately, depending on where you are and what it is that you're going through. Once again, if you grew up poor and now all of a sudden as an adult, you no longer want to be in poverty, you have to be able to unlearn certain things that you witnessed and saw as a child. Like, if you're used to struggling, if you're used to being on government assistance, if you're used to Social Security, if you're used to people, living paycheck to paycheck, and you don't want to live like that, you have to realize that the ways you manage money, the ways you felt about money, the way you lived your life consuming money is not going to be the same. Like, it takes time, it takes energy and effort. And it's like, unless you're going to see a psychiatrist, you're seeing a therapist, you're following me, you're liking this video, you're booking your service in your session, which is in my description, or you're going to God, ancestors, and universe and take what resonates, leave the rest, because I'm not here to force religion or spirituality. It is a process. Like, unlearning and changing takes time, and a lot of times you don't realize that you've changed, because a lot of times people do go through more things than others. And that's the main reason why, number 2, you can't compare what you had to go through, because if you grew up in dysfunction like a lot of people watching this, or even if you didn't, what do you look like comparing your life in your 24 hours to somebody who's never been traumatized? Like, there are some people in this world who have never struggled, you guys. There are some people who have struggled. They're like, depending on where you are and where you live, you've been taught to think a certain type of way. You've been taught to follow what has been told in your household, in your schools, even with the education that they give us. You have to learn how to, number 1, challenge information. If you are going to take advice from people, and make sure that what they do, their energy and their spirit resonates with it, as well as their actions. If not, You don't need to listen to people or surround yourself with people who you don't want to be like, or who you are no longer resonating with. Because as you evolve, as you go through certain things in life, as you learn the lessons and why you're going through what you're going through, and you figure out who you want to be and you take your time, it's not going to be as something that you focus on. So the third recommendation as you're evolving and growing is allowing yourself to grieve. You cannot become the best version of yourself until you quote unquote have your ego death, or you have your dark night of the soul. For those of you who claim to be spiritual, you cannot quantum leap or, elevate until you make peace with the version of you that you had to outgrow. And it's only uncomfortable because you were so used to being traumatized. People are so used to holding on to memories and people, places, things. So many people have been manipulated. So many people, like I said, have been controlled. Like, you've been controlled mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, from quote unquote societies, quote unquote the elites, quote unquote the governments, quote unquote your neighborhoods, quote unquote your families. This is why people say generational cycles and generational curses. Like, this is an ongoing cycle, and it's not going to change until you realize that you were angry, you were frustrated. Like, you have to be vulnerable. This account is for the mature audience. This account is for people who are vulnerable. This account is for people who are doing the work actively, who are taking notes, who are engaging, who are seeing a psychiatrist, who are praying, who are trying to figure it out. Like, we're not here to have any hate or envy or insecurities or doubts or any fears, because that's not the purpose of life for us or for me. And I'm speaking from experience. The only reason why I had to go through certain things was to realize how great I am. And the fourth thing you have to realize as you're changing and evolving and you're no longer being who you once were, you are allowed to think whatever you want to think about yourself, as long as you're not hurting yourself or harming yourself. That's all I ask when you guys watch these videos. Like, of course, liking and engaging, that's free. That's free. So for all the people who don't want to like, who don't want to engage, who don't want to be here, send and share this video to somebody who needs to see this, because this is important. You make time to watch all the other stuff in the world. You can make time to watch these videos if you choose to be here. If not, you're just gonna waste your time. And you have to realize that you can't be afraid to talk about how certain things make you feel. Am I telling you to put all your business on social media and in the comment section? No. But it's like, you could book a service in a session if you're ready to move forward and you know that you can't be who you once were. Or like I said, continue to take notes, comment, engage, but release it. Like, you do have to talk about how growing up in poverty made you feel, how being touched on inappropriately by that family member made you feel, how you didn't realize that people around you were bullying you or passive aggressive. Like, you have to speak up. You can't be embarrassed or ashamed of who you once were, because that version of you, they did what they needed to do to get by. Like, a lot of people, and I'm going to make this into a separate video, and I'm going to end off the video here because that's a different topic within itself. A lot of people are like, oh, you did what you needed to do to survive. You were in survival mode. We're always going to be in survival mode. The only people who are not surviving are people who are dead. You're not dead, and you have to realize that. To survive means to be alive. Please Google that word. Please look in the dictionary and read. If not, I'll do it for you. To survive means to be alive. You have already survived, quote unquote, a lot of the worst days of your life. The only reason why you think you're not able to move forward or move past certain things is because how it made you feel. It is okay. When you didn't know any better, you didn't do any better. Like, you were taught and shown certain information at that time. When you grow and you're healing yourself and you're not who you used to be, you're going to realize that. So, like, speaking from experience, I've always been somebody who's been confident in myself. I've always thought highly of myself. I've always had love for myself, and I've always been blessed and fortunate. I've never felt like I needed to prove that to anybody, and I still don't. But I've realized growing up, unfortunately, a lot of people around me, they didn't have that same energy. And that is why certain people try to have these parasocial relationships and sabotage and gossip and do like just weird stuff. I don't surround myself with them no more. I don't have nothing to say about them because I was taught that if you don't have nothing nice to say, you don't need to speak on them. But it is what it is. Like, these people I know are not going to be in my life forever. And like I said, as you evolve, as you change, as you talk about the frustration, as you grieve, you'll be able to release it. Like, you're not going to be who you once were. Like, especially when you have been constantly traumatized. Like, when you are always in dysfunction, when you're always around toxic people and they don't know that they're toxic, and like until you educate yourself, like I said, you travel or you witness or you see certain things, it's gonna get to a point where you're gonna have to make a decision for yourself. Like, do you want to stay where you are or do you want to move forward? Like, it's not that it's hard, it's not that it's difficult, it's just unfamiliar. And that is what helps you become the best version of yourself, is embracing the unknown. You have to realize that this is a journey. Your life is a journey. Like, you're going to be here one day and you're going to be gone. So the time in between, you need to be focusing on yourself. So with that being said, if you're new here, I have over 1,000 videos. If you have specific questions, comments, concerns, let me know. If not, the proof is in the pudding. Like I said, I've already posted the content. Of course, I'm going to continue to post because we're growing and we're elevating. But yeah, like, speak up, but to survive, because you guys, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. But I understand some people, like I said, are ignorant. And that's another thing. If you didn't have certain resources and certain tools and certain guidance and certain wisdom that you have now, it is okay. Like, you don't have to beat yourself up. I'm learning how to be patient with that and other people. But to survive means to remain, and I'm going to screenshot this. To survive. Survive. I'm a survivor. Okay? To survive means to remain alive, to exist, or to continue to function, particularly after hardship or the longing of someone. So to survive means to endure, to continue. So when people are like, oh, you were in survival mode, you're always going to have to survive. Like, you guys, it's just a pet peeve of mine. But that's because people don't know any better. And if somebody doesn't know any better, you teach them. Do we know everything? No. But when you have enough experience, you have enough discernment, you have enough wisdom, and you care, you teach people. We are not here to bully people. We're not here to shame people. We're not here to judge people. So if you could be teachable, I could be teachable. If not, like I said, send and share this video to somebody who really wants the tea. Because at the end of the day, like I said, because life is constantly going to change, seasons are going to change, and you're going to grow older, what you do with your life is on you. What I choose to do with my life is on me. But one thing I'm not going to do, and one thing I don't tolerate, is people complaining about things. Like I said, if you didn't know no better when you were younger, okay, cool. That's why we have these videos. That's why you're supposed to be getting your pen and your paper and taking notes. That's why you need to book a service in a session. If not, go about your business, because I'm going to go about mine. Like, I'm grown. And like I said, my content on this account is for the grown adults. If you're not a grown adult, maybe you shouldn't be watching this, okay? Whatever questions, whatever comments, whatever concerns, let me know. This is day 1 out of 30. Like I said, for the whole month of April, this is what we're going to be talking about. So this is going to be probably one of the longest videos that I have, but it needs to be said. So yeah, follow me on all my social media platforms. You guys on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It's in the description. Like I said, if you're ready for your service, drop the word website, as well as, like I said, like and comment, engage. It's free. It's free. Okay, you already watched. If you watch this video all the way to the end, a lot of you all, I'll be having my analytics checked. Y'all be having your notifications on. Share the video. If you don't want to comment and you don't want to engage, but you watch, share the video. Okay, just share the video. Like, why not just share the video? Supporting people is not going to take away from you. And I'm gonna let you know now, you will not be blessed if you can't help people. I help people. I give to people. And yeah, I'm blessed. You have to realize that. That's a different topic within itself. But follow me. I'm about to go on TikTok after I post this video. It's a new month. We have new energy. And yeah, I love you. You're loved. You're not alone. Until next time, peace.